episode 12. It's actually been a little while since we've done this. I had some traveling, had some important things to get done, wedding and traveling.
Yeah, congrats, mate. Well done.
You. Yeah, that's been between now and the last one. You may have noticed also a new setup. We fucking hated the other one.
Yeah.
No, we like the other one, but this one is a little bit more convenient. We're excited to be here in this new spot, the Grey Creative.
Yeah, it looks sick. Very happy.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more central for us both.
To try and keep it a bit more consistent, isn't it? We want to keep the podcast rolling, so
that's the main thing. Hey, and we always have like a plan with the topics, either a plan or a guest. The guests are the fun ones. They're the ones that you don't really have to prep too much unless you want to just know a little bit more about the person beforehand, but they kind of flow. But once we've done, as I said, we've done 11 episodes prior to this, you don't want to be always talking about the same thing, but also we don't have we're not like changing lives or, well, we are a little bit, I guess, but we're not like doing anything crazy in the world or anything. So it kind of feels, anyway, from my perspective, and I know you're quite the same, that you just don't want to repeat the same boring shit because you don't feel like you're that interesting a little bit.
Yeah, there's always that fear, but at the same time, just giving just simple advice often. Yeah. Like, we're not here trying to get like clickbaits out on socials and stuff. And that's where you can say some like crazy shit. Yeah. We're trying to give honest, good advice. And so sometimes you do repeat yourself a little bit.
Yeah. And I think we're only, like I said, giving advice just for our members. Like, that's our main goal, and also sharing like what's happening with gyms and communities.
Yeah, let's give a bit of an insight of where we're going, and try to like communicate on a different level to our members and to people who are following the Southend journey.
Yeah, it keeps them up to date, doesn't it? But that was, we were trying to plan the podcast episode for today, and we both had a list of lots of topics, and then I was kind of like, why don't we just have a chat and then we'll see how it flows through. So that actually was my first topic that I wrote down after that. How hard it is sometimes for podcast creativity. Like, it'd be very easy for us not to do this podcast, but like we said, we're trying to if we bring a little bit of value to at least one member, or when a member says, oh, I didn't know that about you, or that's awesome, you guys are doing this in the gym, or that really resonated with me, like that makes it worth it. Plus, we said we're going to do it. So that's the other reason we kept doing it. Yeah,
and we've been enjoying it, haven't we? Like, I love coming here, and it's first time here, but I love doing my podcasts with a guest or with yourself. So it's a good way to, like, I don't know, it's just fun to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you get nervous about it? I still get high heart rate.
I get, a little bit. Just because, I don't know, I don't always know the questions you're going to, like, put out there with topics sometimes.
Yeah.
And also, we don't plan it, so you don't really know what you're going to say, you know what I mean? Yeah. Until you start talking. But it seems to be going all right so far.
Yeah. Millions of views.
Yeah. Killing it.
But yeah, it is. I do find it tricky to arrive to a place. I'm not like I wouldn't say I'm an overly chatty person in real life, so it's hard to think of the concept of arriving that you're going to talk for an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
That does make me nervous. But we end up getting through it, and it turns out okay, I think.
Doing well, mate. You're doing well. You're doing well. It's like a little therapy session for you every time. Isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, we don't want to go too deep, though.
Yeah, we do.
It's not that type of thing. But no, that's, I thought I'd just share that, how we arrived on today's episode, and that it is difficult for at least myself to get creative with these, but it ends up flowing into something. But what's been happening, mate? We are 5 weeks into owning our second gym.
Yeah, the second gym down in Shell Harbour. Yeah, it's been 5 weeks since it's been official, and it's been going very well so far, I would say. We've made a few good changes. There's lots of like small changes around the gym, which the gym had just built up a lot of clutter over the years of it just not being looked after regularly. So we've been spending quite a lot of time with just like basically throwing out shit. So we spent a lot of money to buy a gym and then throwing a lot of it out. And then our big plan was to just try to make the gym make sense and look a certain way and function well when you're in there. So like the best way I could really describe it before was kind of felt like a garage gym, but in a big space where you've got like 100 people paying.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like random shit everywhere, and there was no like thought process of like, this is going to go there because we're going to have this, because it was all kind of like, oh, that'll fit there, that'll go there. Oh, we got that for free, so we'll chuck that up. So we're just trying to just...
what are you thinking about when you're like trying to redesign the space?
So safety is like a big thing. So we always have a goal. We want our gym to be busy, but we don't want our gym to be over busy. There are some gyms out there which it's actually fucking insane. They will pack out like 40 people into a space like 200 square meters, whereas ours is like close to 500 square meters, and we would cap our classes at 20 people per class. And that allows us to for everyone to have like, say, a bar. So if everyone's got a barbell and a machine, it's still safe, enough space. Like, it's busy, but there's enough space around it. So if someone's dropping bars, you're not dropping bars on people. So safety is a big thing. From an aesthetic look, like when you walk into gym, do you get that wow factor? I know you're very good at kind of visualizing that, like what people see when they walk in. Like front of house, like as soon as you walk in, what do you see? So that's always been like quite a big thing for us. And then just trying to tick off basic requirements for owning a CrossFit gym. Like you'll have people who own a CrossFit gym, but their ceilings are fucking... You can get a 6'2" male in there, you know what I mean? So they can't even really put their arms overhead, you know what I mean? Whereas we, obviously we want to have everything in there. So just having high rings, like there wasn't really any high ring stations. There was like 2 like random spots. So having some regular stations there, having some regular wall ball targets. Like I said, it's not perfect. We still need to find room to get 15-foot ropes in there safely. That's going to be quite a big job. We're looking to get a sled track put in as well to jump on supply good equipment for people doing high rocks. But the biggest change really from the last 5 weeks is moving the rigs off the walls and then putting them through the middle in both rooms. And that's created more cells, squat cells for people. Whereas I think we had 10 before, and we've now got 12. And then it just also gives structurally and from visually just looks way better.
In a different way, but it replicates what we have in Maroubra, which previously the Maroubra one was on the wall many years ago, and then it went to the middle, and it has this kind of iconic look where everyone comes together to do their gymnastics in the middle. Then their barbells are either side of the rig, and that's visually it looks cool, but it also functions really well for safety, like you said. You've mentioned the some places that will cram 40 or whatever people into a tiny space, and I think that's doable if your training's not super varied or super technical. We obviously in CrossFit we offer a wide variety of things from Olympic lifting to the gymnastics, so you need all this extra space to do that safely, and that's why we have the caps in the room. We could fit 40 or 50 people in a class, but we'd be stuck doing kettlebell swings and
for sure.
What are those things mountain climbers called?
Fucking mountain climbers.
Like that. And that's what, a lot of what makes up those sort of
speed skaters.
Yeah, that makes up a lot of those programs.
I think that's what really separates our style of training, right? Is for CrossFit methodology, where you like how many variations can you do erg into burpees, into box jumps, into push-ups, into kettlebell swings, into sit-ups. Like we do that as well. But it's actually trying to develop people's skills and also develop people's like ability to believe in themselves to be able to do it. Like a lot of people will come and they're like, I can't do it. Like I was speaking to a girl today, she's trialing today at 4 p.m. and she's like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. And we got hang power cleans. And she's very like athletic, and I'm like, as soon as she gets in there and starts like working on skills and working with our coach Jordan, who's a very good coach, she's going to start really enjoying that process. Whereas at the moment, she just goes to fitness first and tries to move around fucking meatheads and fucking singlets just to do some lat pull downs. Which you develop some lat strength, but really like what's that really benefiting her? And like, I don't believe she would enjoy being in that environment because it's a toxic environment in general, those gyms.
Yeah.
Like there's no there's zero community. People can say, there's community in those gyms. I've been in them, I've worked in them, and there's not. Or they're not positive communities anyway.
Yeah, and how long can you do that for? Like put up with either not getting spoken to in your gym or just having the same repetitive shit.
That's what happened to you, wasn't it? You were just literally just walking around.
Yeah.
You put up a really good post on your IG account the other week about that.
IG.
Don't quit that.
Yeah. No, you're right. And we were actually doing an exercise with our business coach earlier today, which I think some people heard you say, talking about your mission statement. That's probably very broad for people when they first hear that. And I think probably if you previously told me, come up with your mission statement, I would kind of think, oh, geez. But it is important to align on what your mission is and why we do this and like what we're all about, what's our backstory, blah, 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 which we can go into later or another time. But what I was getting at is that we both reflected on one part of this developing your mission statement, which was what was like the trigger for you wanting to run a gym like Southend. And we both, even though we have a bit different backgrounds, it was kind of the same thing about being unhappy with the space that we were training in or a part of. And both of those were these toxic gyms. Mine was a Fitness First in the local area as well. But it was the fact that you would walk in. Well, the big problem was that I wasn't going because I had no interest in being there. Like I would get motivation from watching the Rocky movie or something on the weekend before, going for a couple of days, and then there was nothing keeping you there because nobody talked to you. Everyone had their headphones on. There was no accountability, no one motivating you. There's no progression really, except for if you stuck to a plan, you could definitely get a little bit more strong or whatever you're looking for, but it just didn't have that. That wasn't an option, I don't think, for me. And it wasn't until I came into our gym that actually became part of my training. And it was funny that you had the same thing from a different angle, being a trainer in a gym like that. So you're in another local gym. Just being around that toxic environment allowed you to see like what was missing in this, like what's actually going to get everyday people to train hard and progress themselves. And these community things it's just this buzzword, but when you actually have a real version of it, that's when you see people sticking around, people being consistent.
They can be so unhealthy. And like when I think about it, when I was PT-ing at Titan Fitness in Coogee, it was all how you looked, aesthetics. They say there's like health, but there wasn't really much focus on health. It was just like how lean can you be? And then how lean and how big can you be?
Yeah.
Which isn't really it's not really a thing. You can be lean, you can be big. If you're lean and putting on muscle, you're on steroids is really the equation to that, you know what I mean? So
which was big there, right?
Which was massive. Like you had half the trainers there were on it, and then half the fucking membership base was on it. But that stemmed from, so I find that interesting because that stemmed from the owner. So the owner there, they were massively into that world.
Right.
And then that sort of kind of flows down, right? So the owners, and then after that, when I then started moving into CrossFit gyms and opening up one myself, it got to a point where I moved from there and then moved down south with my family. And we went to Wollongong and then we went to Shell Harbour. And I was just getting fed up of, there's no good gyms out there. Like, this isn't us slagging other gyms off. I just know, like, we'll say if a gym's good, we'll say, right? But, like, how many good gyms do we know in Sydney? Like, there are out there.
Yeah, I'll recommend them to people if they...
But there's not many, is there?
No.
Like, would you struggle to get to 5?
Probably, yeah.
So, like, you're probably thinking, like, 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
So when I came down south, I was like, fuck me, there's fucking nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you end up just sort of settling somewhere because, like, that's kind of the best option. And there's just so many, like, culture issues, just basics, like, from a politeness, from a standpoint to processes of like coaches development, from a thought process behind programming to equipment to structure of classes to trying to like build the gym forward. It was, every gym would do some things well, but then the things they don't do well tend to outweigh the things they did do well. So then all people were focusing on the stuff is what they weren't doing well. And that's something like, obviously we're not going to be perfect. We have things to work on, but what we do try to do is address those issues before they become too big.
There's been a fair few things to undo in this new gym, but doing that alongside putting in our own systems and our own culture has been, that's part of the challenge, right? Which is it's an exciting challenge to do. We have found that one of the challenges is actually, not that it's a challenge, it's just an extra learning, I think, that it's treating it as a different thing, a different animal. Such a different demographic down there compared to our Sydney gym. Our Sydney gym is, we have a lot of people who are kind of transient in the sense that they're overseas born, they're either living temporarily in their area or maybe their future's uncertain there because of visa and whatever, they might have to move away. Or like yourself, you had to move your family away to go to a bigger house, that sort of thing.
Like basically, family is a massive thing right down where I am. Like not every member's got a kid, but a lot of them have. Like a lot.
Mate, on that Saturday I went down there. I saw that you'd made the kids, you'd upgraded the kids room from, it used to be a cage on the wall, and now it's an actual, you changed the front office to a proper kids room with all the stuff.
We're going to expand that soon as well.
Which you need to, because on that Saturday it was like kids on top of each other. It was massive. Like it was just like, wow. Like I could obviously hear you say there's so many families down here, and it's such a nice culture for that. But for me to actually see it,
I know we have members who bring their kids in Maroubra, but it's minimal, isn't it?
It's definitely less.
We're not set up for it, are we?
Obviously welcome, but it's not. We don't have a giant kids room.
We get more dogs than kids. Don't we, at Maroubra? Like you said, it's just for clientele there. Like they're still in their mid-20s going out on a piss every weekend.
Exactly.
Whereas no one's doing that. I mean, you know what I mean? They're drinking at home, all depressed, getting through a slab.
So it has been cool to see that you can't just treat it as exactly the same thing. Whilst we try and bring our overall goal, mission, as we discussed, and culture of Southend into it, we treat it as a different animal in terms of the clientele. So that's been an interesting learning, something I probably didn't expect as much to the gravity that it is, I would say.
Do you think it would be like kind of a copy and paste kind of thing?
I think there is aspects that does work, but I think I would more so, that I could just copy and paste some of the marketing stuff.
But it's even like what we were talking about before we came in here, wasn't it? That like Instagram posts up in Maroubra, like a banging reel of people lifting heavy, doing gymnastics, and a fucking heavy soundtrack. They can't get enough of it, can they? You could put one up every day and they'd be like, this is sick. Well, down here, like people do like that, but it needs to be a little bit different. It needs to be a little bit more. I don't know if substance is a word, but it just needs to be a bit. Don't care for that as much.
I think a simple way to look at it, and it's definitely something that we'll work on moving forward, because we do accommodate for such a wide variety of people at both gyms. But as we discussed, the Shell Harbour gym is more family demographic. We just have to make sure that those demographics are being represented online, because we represent them. We actually deliver what we promise in person. Once they get in the gym, they realize, I can do this. I've never trained before. I've got 2 kids, whatever it may be. They can actually do CrossFit, even though maybe we didn't represent that enough in the Instagram, like we were saying, because there's one of our animal athletes is doing something very impressive. So I think moving forward, like we discussed, is that we need to make sure those people feel represented before they come in, build that layer of trust even more so, and making sure that people are welcome, because that is a overall goal, right? Bringing it to as many people as possible.
100%. And it's like we're trying to accommodate and encourage beginners and new people into CrossFit as much as we can, right?
Yeah.
Like that's one of our things we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to show people that there are different ways to just go into hating life in Fitness First and all these other gyms and actually find a strong togetherness with other people who want to just train hard and laugh in between all the hard workouts.
Yeah.
It's basically what we want to do. But if we're trying to do that and then CrossFit's already intimidating and then they go, oh no, I want to check it out. Then they go onto our Instagram page and then there's Lydia doing 35 unbroken bar muscle ups. They'll be like, what the fuck is what?
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not like, that's a very impressive feat that she could do that. But we're trying to allow people to think, oh no, I'll be welcomed there. And I don't know necessarily if that does that.
Yeah.
Whereas we haven't put that up. That was just an example. But gyms do that because it's cool. They think it's cool.
Yeah.
And they think it's like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you are actually delivering for everyone, maybe you're not doing enough justice by representing it online.
How many times do you speak to a new person coming in and then you say, oh, a majority of our membership base is beginner. Like we're a beginner to intermediate gym. And every time they're always like, oh, really? Like they just think because you're a CrossFit gym, but it's like athletes. But in reality, like what do we have? Like 260 members, active members at Maroubra. How many would you classify as athletes or like people?
Yeah, it's probably
Maybe
it's like
20.
Yeah, it's between 5 and 10% of that probably.
So who are the rest of the people?
Yeah, just everyday people.
Yeah, trying to train 3 times a week.
Yeah,
getting there, trying to improve on skills, but they're not being obsessed about it. They want to get stronger, but their main goal is family, provide for their family with work, and then keep fit and healthy for their family, right? So their main priority is the family, and that's what down here is like everyone's families first.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes in Maroubra it can shift a little bit because it's a bit more.
Yeah, because there's a lot of single or
training, young couples, or
you
just got more time on your hands, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Me, keep it that way, mate. Keep it that way.
10 hours of training last week.
Yeah.
Not a worry in the world. But yeah, we'll call it a challenge because that's what it is. I wouldn't say it's not a negative or anything. It's been just a learning curve, which is cool that we're 5 weeks in. Fuck, we're already growing, and
I love the community change. I mean, that might be because I'm kind of there in my life anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm not in that world now where you're going out heaps and you know, when it's kind of hard raising a family in Maroubra, I think, or like in Sydney, eastern suburbs. You're kind of living a single life, but you're not. Yeah, you've got fucking kids.
Plus, it's expensive. All those extra stresses, right?
Is fucking tiny unless you got fucking millions.
Yeah, unless you're loaded.
Yeah. So
we just put a post out last week of you talking to this demographic that we're in, which is dads. You're basically talking to other people like yourself. Yeah. Talking about parenthood around training and work, which is, it's part of this new, like we just discussed, this new angle of making sure these people know that they can come and train with us. If they really don't like it, they don't have to. Yeah. But at least come and try it. Come have a look. How do you feel about the balancing parenthood and training and work? You got 2 gyms now as well. 2 gyms. 2 kids. 2 wives.
Kids, 2
kids.
No,
just 1 wife.
2 wives. 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. I mean, my life's a bit different because of working hours, right? Like we work because obviously with the gyms, we're on. Anyone who has a small business themselves knows that you're pretty much working 24/7 in some capacity. Yeah. Whether you're messaging someone at 3 a.m. when you go to the toilet, or you're staying up late at night because you're worried about something, right? Like a padlock breaking the other day, for example, for you. And
imagine if how many members or new leads or whatever knew they were being messaged from the toilet.
I quite like doing it at like 3 a.m. You get that warning from Instagram saying this is too early or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just time, right? So at the moment you have pockets of time. You have work, time with caca, and then you have time to train.
Yeah.
And time to socialize and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when you have one kid, that time gets reduced down because the kid needs to sleep, all that. And then with your wife, you then need to make sure she's got time, help take the baby up, and then also have time together as a family and so on. And then when you have 2 kids, you're properly fucked, because then all those time then reduces, and then you're like half that time.
Yeah.
So like, I think for one kid is a piece of piss, and then as soon as you get that second kid, that's when it gets harder, just the time management.
Right.
And then that's where you find people train regularly at 5 a.m. Like our class at 5 a.m. down here, or they're our busiest classes, because pretty much everyone's got kids and they got work. So the only time they can guarantee they're going to train is if they get up at 4:30 or whatever and train at 5.
Yeah.
So it's being very efficient with your time, and also finding what works. Like I've been lucky, like Haley, my wife, she's very she likes to train every day as well, so we work as a team. I'll go there and she goes there, and you see that a lot in our gym down there, where you'll see like almost like a tag team. They'll come in, train, go out, and then the other person comes. So there's a lot of teamwork to try to get it in, and a lot of the time is getting there and getting it done rather than what have I done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you might be worried a bit more about your performance, about like how much you lifted, or fucking Sam Cooke would just beat you in a fucking workout. Like,
not happening.
Oh, mate, he's a dad of 2. He don't give a fuck. He's just got here happy, but he's just managed to do the workout and hasn't pulled a lat or something. You know what I mean?
Do you think, like, I'm sure there's, if I can guess, there's this level of guilt occasionally when you take this time for yourself as a parent, and there's as you said, with 2 kids, there's less opportunities to do this. What do you think about that equation between taking this time, that's your time to go train, same as your wife Haley, as opposed to like if you just did your work and then just hang out with the kids? What's the cost benefit for that? Like, is it selfish for you to train and take your time, or do you think that has a net positive over the family overall, taking that time in terms of who you are? Again,
it depends on the person's situation with work and like how many hours they are doing a week. So I know it's very difficult if people are doing like a lot of hours. Like one of my good friends, Robbie, works crazy hours in the city, but he's decided to start running to work to try to get his fitness in that way. So then if he goes 5k out, 5k back, that's 10k a day. Gave himself chronic runner's knee after about 3 months, but he did try to do that, you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
But from a perspective, obviously, if you just, like everyone's like, family time, spend it with the kids and your wife, if that's all you do and work, you will go fucking insane. Yeah. Like, it's too much, man. Like,
does it make you...
Kids are the weirdest thing, because they're the fucking worst, like, as in you want to get away from them, and as soon as you're away from them for about an hour or 2, you're like, fuck, I need to fucking see them. Yeah. And then you're there with them for about 20 minutes and you're like, fuck, I need to get them fucking away. You know what I mean? So like having little breaks away from them is definitely like, I know personally, like, I'm the best husband and the best dad after I've trained.
From a
clarity perspective, from
like mental health.
Yeah, like if I didn't get to train because of one of the kids, I feel a bit of resentment towards them now. But I feel a bit fucking pissed off all day, right? And I think that's pretty common for people to feel that. And also what's been interesting now, my boy River's he's just turning 6 this month. He's identifying me going out and running early. Like, he was up early the other morning and Haley was upstairs, and he was like, "Oh, you going out? It's a bit rainy and all that." And like going out and running and him seeing me run, there's got to be a positive from that. And now watching him like starting to cycle more and starting to be a bit more active in himself, and just try to start encouraging that.
I saw the push-ups the other day on him.
Yeah, push-ups.
Not bad.
And like, he done cross country the other day and he was like really stoked with himself because he finished 6th, but he was just like really happy. You could see how happy he was. And I think he's identifying that he wants to be strong and fit
because he sees his dad
and there's no mention about like how he looks or anything, which is great.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to keep it that way. It's more about him being stronger, being faster at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Anything that's has to have something to do with you because you prioritize it as well, right? Because you're a strong and fit dad. Because there's probably a lot of dads that either aren't interested or maybe they don't get the chance to do it. But it's such a cool knock-on effect. Like this generation of the next kids. Like there's so many people my age and like early 20s that their whole life is like, especially where I live in Sydney, their whole life and social life is fitness, which is such a massive difference to probably your generation, right? Like you're a little bit of an anomaly, not super, but, and then the generation before you would have been like my parents' generation, for example.
True, yeah.
Like it wasn't even a question to go to the gym. Like it would have been weird if you did, probably. Very select few people. So this knock-on effect that you can have on your kid, that he's already interested in being fitter and stronger, even though he doesn't know what that means. That just being part of his life is such a cool knock-on that you've had.
And it's cool watching him, like, if he's running or if he's cycling, he's like, oh, my legs are feeling tired, or they're like, they're hurting and stuff. And it's just like trying to be like, get used to it.
That's cool.
You have to keep pushing through that.
Yeah.
But that's definitely I feel like that's like one of the main things. There's also something which is a little dark, I guess, but there's also something about making sure you're staying fit and healthy and strong to protect your family, which sounds a bit over the top, but it's not always the case, but it's just something which is always like in the back of my mind. Yeah. Like we're not, you and me aren't
killers,
fighters in any facet of our life, right?
Zero. Yeah.
We're very like quite the opposite. Yeah. Right. But if someone was trying to take your kid off you and you just went full, just like red mist, like didn't even know, like it would be very fucking hard to take that kid off you. If you're a big dude, you're strong, you're athletic. Yeah. Like, it's going to be very hard for them to do that. Yeah. And I know Hayley kind of feels like that because obviously Hayley's very like small. She's like 5'3" and like 52 kilos or something. Yeah. So her to be as strong and as fit as possible, just on that one-off chance that she does have to fucking, you know.
Yeah. She thinks about that as well.
Like not like it's a regular thing, but it's like imagine you had to run after someone. Yeah. For it.
Yeah, well, you're not doing it if you...
And you're fucking overweight and you haven't ran since you were like 14 or something. Yeah. Imagine that, you're fucked. Yeah. Like, what was that clip you sent me on socials? About that dude training and about the...
Oh, yeah. What,
it was like a sexual offender, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. They were interviewed.
The
the sexual predator, which is pretty strong language, but... It's an adults program. They would, I don't know if it was all of them or if it was like a study on them, on a few of them, about they would analyze the parent, the dad, and if they look like an easy target, the parent, as opposed to a like in shape or scary looking dad, I guess, that would be an easier target, I guess, which makes sense as a calculation. Obviously very sick, but makes total sense. But I did send you that. I sent it to a few dads.
Yeah, fires you up, that.
It's fire you up.
Good.
Yeah, didn't send it to any of the unfit ones. Nah, that's who you need to send it to, right?
Yeah, 100%.
No, that's cool. So there's like I said, there's probably a guilt factor and a cost time benefit equation that you have to do. But if you can get it in, even a few times a week, get a bit of strength in, get a bit of engine in, even if at minimum you're gonna be more resilient for a little bit longer for your kids. Sounds like a pretty good deal.
I always think, like, what's the other option? The other option is not training at all for the rest of your life. That sounds fucking awful.
Yeah.
Like when you train, that's the one time you get like obviously you get those endorphins, but you feel like happy, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't feel fucking happy all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's times where you feel fucking shit.
Yeah. Or sometimes stressed or whatever.
Feel tired or whatever. But once you're training, when you're in the middle of training or you've finished or whatever, that's when you actually feel like happy within yourself.
Yeah.
And imagine never feeling that again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a unique thing, isn't it?
Like, even if you just get that once a week.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you do it once a week, you'll be trying to find it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking flat out addicted to it.
Yeah.
If I can't have a day of that feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I get it all the time when I'm running. Like, we're running, say we run at like 5 a.m. or whatever. I'm starting to run, it's pitch black.
Mate, you do some
with my mate.
You do some crazy hours.
And you're like,
some early
you're tired
starts.
or whatever. And I'm just like, just get going. My body might be aching or whatever. And then you get about 15, 20 minutes in and I just start fucking
Tingling?
feeling buzzing.
Yeah.
I'm just starting fucking yelling at cunts as they're fucking running past. I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go, boy. You know what I mean? And they're just like going for a little jog. I'm like, fucking get in there. You know what I mean? I just start getting super fired up.
Can't control it.
And
Yeah.
stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's go, boy.
Yeah.
But you don't get that feeling if you just get up and
Yeah.
go to work.
Eat your peanut butter and toast. Go to
It's a
work.
good option, though.
As long as you're running.
But do you feel like that or not really?
About feeling good when I do it?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I feel good when I get work done, especially if it's something that I've said I'm going to do. I put it in my calendar or my structure or whatever for the week, and I do it. I tick it off, and that's the same as with something for work or something personal as well.
Yeah.
But training, it feels like it can never be a wasted hour. Like there's no way this was bad for me in any way.
Yeah.
Taking the time away from, even though I don't have kids or anything, taking the time away from my wife or work or commitment with a friend or something like that, it's never wasted time. And I love that that's more and more, like we discussed this on a podcast, that I wanted to make it more of my lifestyle, being like these other people that I see in the gym who pretty much all they do for their enjoyment time is outside of their family or whatever is their exercise. They do some form of training or exercise, and I wanted to mimic that. So literally being inspired by our members, and I'm doing that now, and it's like the buzz that you get from completing your sessions for the week.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, I don't think, or not many things like it.
What is your training looking like at the moment? Because you seem, we're a weekend.
Yeah.
But I love it when you're motivated, because you will always do something, but I feel like you kind of flow a little bit through it. But you seem super motivated, and I'm always a bit intrigued to see what you can do athletically, because you could do way more than obviously I think you're capable of doing.
Yeah, I would actually say that, like, because I've just kind of got this approach that I'm just going to do it. I'm just getting it done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to set these big busy weeks of training and work, and I'm just going to get it done. And no matter how I kind of feel, if I am motivated or not.
Yeah.
So like last week, for example, or this week, I'm trying to hit at least two CrossFit classes, or 3, because I don't think you can get a better buzz out of that. Like that training around the members, nothing better than that, especially if I can get in on a Saturday. Like that's
pumping.
That's almost like it's some sort of special drug in itself. It's crazy. Like you can't feel better than that, I don't think. I'm also doing 3 high rock sessions a week. One of my mates, I'm doing the high rocks doubles, which 2 of those comprise heavily of running. One of them is only running, because let's say I'm in the Clydesdale category and my partner in that is not. Yeah. He's a pretty speedy runner. But yeah, just trying to get my running up. So that's 3 sessions. That's been an adaptation for these big, thick legs. And then 3 bodybuilding sessions. So you can already get an idea of, like, some of these days are more than one session, because there's 7 days in the week. So 3 bodybuilding sessions from our program. And then I've just started doing jiu-jitsu, which is probably not the best timing starting this, but I've talked about it for so long, and I'm just fucking doing it. I'm not trying to...
What was it about jiu-jitsu which is, like, intrigued you?
I think there's a few factors. Like, for one, it's something that I always said, I'll try that one day.
Yeah.
And then, like, eventually, if you say that for long enough, you'll never do something. It's something I know oh, I've done one session, but I know I'm not good at. Before doing it, I knew I wasn't going to be good at it. It almost scares me a little bit. Like,
not as scary, yeah.
Yeah.
Got fully grown men trying to choke you out.
Yeah. But I know there's like, and it wasn't the case like, well, so far anyway, and I don't think this is the case if it's a normal good gym, that there's people just trying to fucking kill you, unless you're trying to kill them, which I'm not doing. But a little bit scared of like that. I've never really done a martial art like that. I'm not like a conflictual guy. Is that right? Conflictual?
We'll roll with it, yeah.
I don't particularly like conflict. I avoid it actively. And I think this is kind of like, it's just a way of like getting really uncomfortable in something completely that I can't really control a lot of it. Like, you can get uncomfortable in a workout and put yourself in like pain, but you're in control. This is kind of like, I feel so out of depth, and I kind of like that. And one thing I didn't realize I would like so much is that my phone's in my bag for an hour, and like, I'm doing it, so I want to do it right. I'm so fucking focused on what the teacher's telling me, even though when I go to try and do the demo, they just told me it's gone out of my brain. And luckily there's people there to help you. Like, it's so technical, fucking hell.
Yeah, I bet.
And I just was like, fucking hell, I'm so shit at this. Like, am I going to keep coming back? But that was part of it. Like, my mind's on that for an hour. Like, I'm not messaging any leads. I'm not putting anything up on Instagram. I'm not making any sales. I'm not making emails. Like, nothing. Not thinking about work at all. I literally couldn't. It was which was cool. So that's a new addition to the training regime. Nice, if you probably if you were like a strength and conditioning coach, you wouldn't advise that extra session. Also, usually once a week, if the weather's good, I'll play a bit of foot volley with my wife. We go to a foot volley, which is like volleyball with your feet.
So good.
Which is on sand, which is actually quite strenuous, as you can imagine, running around on sand. But that's more of a fun thing, and it's kind of like accidental fitness.
Sure.
But yeah, the week's pretty full, mate.
Yeah.
The training, and I'm loving it. Like, it's really good. I used to get scared of like booking out my weeks. I used to hate having too many commitments, because I was in this thought of like, I want to be completely in control of my time. But one thing I've learned about myself, and I don't know if this resonates with everyone, whether it's work or training, like I said before, if I set out a big task or set of goals for the week, and the week obviously is attached to months and quarters and that sort of thing for training and work. If I set that out and I complete it, like, that's, for me, that's the best reward. The completion of that. Like, I really get rewarded mentally for the work.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what that is, but I think that's definitely something that more and more drives me.
Because I feel like you're trying to set bigger goals, like for business and personally. Because sometimes you'll say like some goals like for our business, and I'm like, you know what I mean? It makes me go a bit like, oh, yeah.
It seems a lot.
Yeah. But I need that though. I think.
Yeah.
I need sometimes I feel like I can cruise along and like just make our little wins, you know?
Yeah.
Do little wins rather than like, no, let's try to make this leap into the next thing. Yeah,
I could get in the same thing. Sometimes you get tired, like you're exhausted, like you're fucking sick of grinding for that next little step, next lead, or next bit of growth or whatever. But when you have these loftier ambitions, like you just have to remind yourself, like, if we looked back at the start of Southend and we told ourselves then, oh, this is going to be what it is now, even though now we feel like there's a lot more work to do. If you told
Imagine when it happened and you're like, oh, in a year's time you'll have a second one. You're like, fucking no chance.
Mental, yeah. When I was going through the process of like negotiating to come in as an owner, negotiating, going through the finance and all that sort of shit, like all those sleepless nights of, fuck, is this the right idea? Like, I could be doing myself in here, like, and I'll be in debt forever. This will be the worst decision. Like, I'll have to go back to construction.
The business could fail.
Yeah, I'm a fucking loser. All that stuff. Everything I would tell myself every day. If you told me then, like where we'd be now, I would just think, well, you're beyond complete now. Like, you can stop retire. Like you're sweet.
It's definitely not the case,
mate. It does not feel like that at all. It feels like awesome.
We've kind of started again, doesn't it?
Yeah, awesome that we've done all that, but mate,
that was
so much more to do.
So stressful just getting that the second space, wasn't it?
Yeah, you got
obsessed with this other space.
Yeah,
and then that fell through, and then originally we're looking at the one we got, then that fell through, then we looked at another one and that almost went in, and then that fell through, and then we went back to the original one.
Yeah.
So it was a good few months of like every day me like had some real low points.
Yeah.
Because we lost not like loads of money, but we lost a fair bit of money.
Good
like
amount,
the size of our business.
Yeah.
And that was down to, we make decisions together, but I was leading the way on those decisions for like this particular project. So you kind of take responsibility a little bit more.
Yeah, you feel a little bit more when you take the lead. Yeah, but yeah,
it's all working out.
One thing I heard recently, and obviously everyone's heard this shit saying of it's the journey, not the destination. And I think we put that into like the don't make your training about the destination of being shredded, for example. Yeah. If you enjoy those steps of the training process, then that's going to be the most rewarding thing. And I heard this thing recently of one of the top 3 or top 5 regrets of successful CEOs who have exited the business, like sold it and gone on, is not like they wish they enjoyed the process more. Like looking back, that's the fun part, like trying to enjoy the process. So
Phil Knight says that, doesn't he? You just be like, I'll just do it again. He's got like $1 billion in his account. He'll be like, what'd you change? I wish I could roll back the clock and do it again. Yeah.
Like if someone offered me a stupid amount of money for Southend, I'll be like, well, then what do I do? What the fuck do I do then?
Yeah. I actually think about that quite a bit now, because now we're in the early stages of this second place, and I'm like, really try to enjoy the process of this early stages, because I don't know, like in a year's time, I don't know what we'll be doing, but it's not going to be coaching probably, and it's not going to be in there every day. Like I'll be in there, obviously doing a bit of training and stuff. Yeah, but it's going to look different. Yeah. So it's trying to enjoy these times now.
For sure.
Because when I think about when it was Kia Car before we changed over to Southend, it was like it was just a different time, obviously, but those grindy days of coaching and training, like training twice a day and coaching morning and evening, coaching every day, and you're doing everything. There was like something cool about that simplicity to that. But unfortunately, it doesn't get you a good business. So. Exactly. And we were just talking about that when a young lad, we don't know, but he's sort of purchased a new gym, and I kind of like just feel like I can see where it's going. Yeah, I might be wrong, but
wish all the best.
And I would love to. I'd love to help gym owners, sort of, not like we got all the answers, but it'd be cool to just sort of like mistakes we've made and what we've seen over the time. But DM your followers. Step one. Respond to a DM. As soon as someone follows you, DM them. Yeah. So simple.
I brought that up. I think I told you. I messaged. Oh no, I was telling someone at the conference we did. I did a couple of weeks ago with their business coach about how I wanted to do a drop-in when I was in the US in a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
And because I was heading over, so I messaged them a couple of weeks in advance. It was going to be near where I was staying, about doing a week or whatever I was there for. And they got back to me like a month after I'd left the US, so 6 weeks later or something. And they were just like, sorry, Jack, we didn't see this. We don't really check the DMs. We're more old school. We only go by email. And I was just like, good luck.
You're
like, why not?
Closing,
yeah, why not? And then I actually, we just talked about me starting jiu-jitsu. Not the gym I ended up at, but another one, which I would have gone to, most likely, a closer one. I DM'd them and emailed and texted, actually. Wow. Didn't hear back on either one.
Crazy, isn't it?
Nothing.
Crazy.
I was following them as well. They never responded to my follow, so there's a free fucking...
You're not telling me you're so busy.
Yeah, I hope they are.
You know what would be happening now?
I hope they're fucking rich.
the owner just be coaching flat out.
Yeah, no time for it.
Yeah.
I hope they're loaded.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just an example. There's your business coaching lesson. Pretty groundbreaking.
Check your DMs.
Check your DMs, please. Check the requests. It's pretty groundbreaking. But yeah, how did we get onto this? I think we were just talking about the new gym. I wanted to chat about our community event, which we always thought, like, when we were like opening the second gym, we're like, oh, it'd be so sick to get everyone together.
Yeah.
Both gyms. Obviously, they're about an hour and a half apart. So it's not super simple, but come end of May, Murph weekend.
Yeah.
Which, for anyone that doesn't know, Murph is a hero workout, famous one in CrossFit. No barbells or anything, but it's still a CrossFit workout. We claimed it. We're doing a community event for that, so we're going to get a bunch of people together. We're going down to the Shell Harbour gym, which will be the first time a lot of the Sydney members have seen the Shell Harbour gym, so we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Run a few heats. It's a bit of for anyone that's ever done Murph in a big group, it's a bit of a vibe. Like, it sucks,
sure.
It hurts. It hurts a lot, but it's a vibe.
And we're going to do partner, right? Partner Murph, so it's
I think so.
A little bit more fun.
I was thinking of offering, if anyone wants to do individual, they can do it, but it's more about the...
Yeah, I reckon just make it partner, because people just have to a bit more teamwork in it.
Yeah, it's a good little vibe for that. So that's going to be the morning. And then in the Arvo, we're going to do a bit of a social gathering. People can get some food, get some drinks in if they want. And we're encouraging people to spend the whole weekend down there. So we've booked, for example, we're bringing the Sydney coaches down. We're going to stay Friday, Saturday night, do a bit of a coaches thing on the Friday night, meet the Shell Harbour coaches, which I haven't met all of them yet.
Yeah.
So that'll be good to get everyone together, make a bit of a weekend of it. Hopefully no rain, no winter weather.
It's going to be sick, man. Like, to just get everyone to, like, actually bring them together. So instead of it feeling like two separate gyms, which I feel like it already kind of feels like people are sort of like they're following. Obviously, we've got members following both and tagging both in different posts and stuff like that. But it'd be cool to sort of get everyone to sort of like make some contacts and
there's people doing drop-ins. Like, we just had a Shell Harbour girl come up during the week.
So that's one cool thing. Obviously, it's not a massive thing to a membership, but they do have access to use the Maruba one. So we do have a couple of members who go to Sydney quite regularly, so they will pop in and they can use that part of their membership, which is just a nice little touch, isn't it? Yeah,
I'm excited about it, mate. I think if I use our competition, for example, that we have every year, which we'll have again this year in November.
Yeah.
When you remove all the stress and logistics and craziness from it, judging errors or scoring errors on my part. When you look back and you think all these people are here on this massive high of being together and everyone's stoked, everyone's like, fuck, what a cool event. And then we get to hang out afterwards as well. I have this like expectation of this as well, of like a selfish feeling like, fuck, how cool is this what we have here?
Yeah.
Like all these people.
Yeah.
I feel like I get a little bit of selfish out of that. Like,
it's a buzz, for sure. Yeah, because you've created it, and it's not even on that big a scale, to be honest. It's only like 30 teams of 3, but we'd go bigger if we had a bigger space, wouldn't we? Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it this year again. It's going to be big, man, because like every year we just got to like up it a little bit, haven't we? Yeah. Increase whatever it is. Maybe each team of 3 gets 2 medals instead of 1 medal this year. You know what I mean?
Not 3.
Not 3. Yeah.
Share your medal.
Here's this little. We just go one real big medal this year.
They just get a bit pricey, don't they?
But yeah, hopefully making it a little bit bigger with more teams. So go up to that sort of 40 teams potentially, and it's gonna be big. Yeah. Full send. Yeah,
like we talked, we're our roles are very much turning into event planners.
Oh yeah. Event planners and very average content creators.
Yeah, very average, but we're getting it out there.
But we're getting out there, mate.
With the help of these lot, we'll get a little bit extra.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much for listening, guys. We'll see you shortly.
See you.
Bye.